said, ain't that weird? That's just...
Don't make right.
Turned around, went back to camp. 2 days later, I went and got my motel room that I used to get once in a while so I could watch TV and lay on a real bed and take a shower and all that, you know. So I went to the hotel, and while I'm there, I'm watching the TV, and flash on the news, there's a picture of the Cadillac. Police discovered $350,000 in abandoned Cadillac in Lantana Beach. And I'm going, what the fuck? They found it stuffed up under the seat.
Right there in front of your place.
Yeah, and the first thing I wanted to do was sit in that car when I walked by it, and I didn't because it wasn't my car. But if I'd just done it, I look back now, boy, goddamn, the world would have been different.
Wow.
Yeah, things would have been different. Because if I could have got a punch in the arm with that much cash, well, damn, back then, it would have helped me.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That was right after you got out.
Oh, yeah, Yeah. I mean, I've been married a few times, so that was interesting. First. None of them last very long. Just saying. Too crazy for them or something. Or they're sluts. Yeah, that's it. They're all sluts.
How long time did you spend homeless when you got out?
Oh, in my lifetime, off and on for 3 years, probably 4 years off and on. I mean, by choice, not by anybody else's design, but my own. I gotta go. Yeah. You can have it. You have the house, have the car, have the boat, the plane, anything else in the backyard. I gotta go. And that's how it was. It was like just something inside of me. I had to go, bro. I mean, yeah, I had to go. This thing has got to the point where nothing made sense. So it may as well not make sense way down yonder.
Right.
You know, why do you have to be around some places that don't make no sense? You get up and go. If it don't make no sense to you inside and up here, ain't no sense to sitting there. Fuck that. See you later. I'll go do my own thing over there. Start something else up. I mean, I've scrubbed toilets and made beds up in a motel just to eat. So it's not like I chipped bricks in California once. A penny a brick. God damn, that was a lot of work. Just to get. The only thing I was working for was a tank of gas on my Triumph, so I could get the fuck up out of there. I didn't want to sit there and chip bricks. I was just trying to get gas money. I had a Triumph 650. It was all chopped out, and I drove all up and down the coast of Florida, California. I've been to Oregon and Washington State for a while, but I just on a bike homeless. Just went until I ran out of gas and tried to find something to do where you can make enough money to go somewhere else.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I met some really neat folks.
Huh.
I was up in God damn, I can't remember the Mount Shasta area, and my bike broke down. I said, fuck. I mean, it really broke down. It was clanking and thumping. So I pushed the bike and what little knapsack of gear, my sleeping bag and everything over into the woods and kind of pushed it up in where it's not visible, right? And I said, well, I'll go to town, because town I knew was coming up several miles, so I figured I'd start hitchhiking. So I did, and got a ride into town, and I was at the gas station asking the guy if anybody around there repaired motorcycles, or there was a bike shop or a club or something that might help me. He goes, not around here, he goes. Billy Bob works on his down there. I said, well, just then a pickup truck went by with my bike in the back. I said, holy fuck. I said, that's my bike. I said, he stole my bike. And he goes, calm down. He goes, that's a California Highway Patrol boy that lives down the road here about a half mile. I said, well, he stole my fucking bike. So I ran up the driveway, and two boys got up out of the fucking truck. I said, that's my bike, man. And they said, yeah? Broke? I said, yeah. I said, what are y'all doing with it? And they said, my name's so-and-so, California Highway Patrol. There's two motorbikes out there, California chips, right? Just like Ponch and John. Right. I'm going, wow. So I said, yeah, my bike broke, and here I am. And they said, well, you're in luck, bro. I said, what's that? And they said, that garage right there is full of tools. He goes, And we have all kinds of bike parts and things, and we know where to order them from. If you'd like, you can hang out here for a minute. We kind of notice you're probably homeless. I said, I'm not homeless, I'm cruising. He goes, same thing. He goes, but you can bivouac here for a minute if you want to. And I said, cool. And I did. I stayed there 2 weeks, bro.
Huh.
I helped them fix a couple. They had a Husqvarna out there that I put back together for them and did some raking and shit. So I paid for my stay. And then when I left, they gave me $50 for gas and everything. So that was cool, boy.
Huh.
I said, thanks, bros. I mean, they were really cool guys. They were highway patrolmen, but they were just into bikes and being real.
Right.
Didn't care about me smoking pot or nothing, because that's just not what they cared about. They didn't give a fuck about that. They were doing a job on the highway. They were pretty cool cops. I like them. So then I left there and just kept cruising. And then every once in a while I'd catch a good job for a few days where I'd make a few $100. And I was good to go that way. But I fixed my bike. It took a couple weeks for the part to come. I had to order a part. I'd blown a hole in one of the top of the pistons, so I had to take the head off and the gaskets and all that. Put it back together again. And it ran.
Huh.
And it had such a fork on the front. That son of a bitch was raked. I mean, to tell you, I'm not exaggerating. The bike was from here to that pot long.
Wow.
When you went to turn it around the road, you had to back it up and get it going again. Like you had to do that twice to keep it in the pavement.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it didn't like to turn very sharp, but it was fun to ride because it was like, it was real, like just like a bouncy
Galloping horse.
because the front would be doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was real kind of smooth actually.
Wow. Is that why they do that?
What's that?
Have them chopped out like that?
Well, they do it because it looks cool and nobody else does that. This guy that did the forks, he made the forks right, but he made them in his shop and he housed them in vacuum cleaner, chrome vacuum cleaner tubes. So there was like 4 vacuum cleaner tubes on each fork that stuck out there. So,
Wow.
I mean, it was chromy and it looked all right, but if you looked at it real close, it was nothing but vacuum cleaner tubes over some steel that he had sticking out front. Yeah, that's cute. And I bought a bike like that. Hell, I paid hardly anything for her. I think it was like $300. Because nobody wanted it. Triumph. So I'll take that motherfucker. I'll ride it, and I did. Rode the hell out of it. And loved every minute of it.
I almost bought a Triumph.
Nice bikes to have. They're making them out today, too. They're really nice. I'm going to have to fix that serpentine belt, I guess. Of course, it could have got knocked loose yesterday when Lamar was trying to knock the oil pan out of that trunk. But he was so drunk. Maybe from the night before.
Yeah.
But he stunk. I got in that truck. It smelled like liquor in there, man. Just from where he'd sweated a little bit. He drinks way too much. He's going to die from drinking. He's already had a bypass surgery. He don't need to be drinking like that after all that. Can't tell him nothing, though, because he's fucking mulehead. And for the longest time, I thought he was in the Coast Guard, but it was the National Guard.
Army National Guard.
Yeah, that's why I never pursued the conversation with him much.
Right.
But he said I was in the Guard. I thought he meant the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
That's, And I asked where were you stationed. He said Savannah, so that Coast Guard station in Savannah, so he could have been there,
Yeah.
Well, you got to hear this one, Todd. In amongst my various years of criminal activity in the background trying to get high, doing the adrenaline rush thing, the newby love caper, when I'm trying to read you forth. Newby bought this beautiful, like, palatial plantation up there in South Carolina that he had, and he lived there, and it was just beautiful. And I hadn't seen Newby since he'd bought this new palatial palace. I'd been down in Miami kicking, and so it'd been a couple of years since I'd seen Newby at home. I mean, I found him in Miami a few times. He'd come down, business and whatnot. So I finally decided I was going to drive up and see Newby. So I drove up to see Newby. Pulled in his yard. Big pillars, fucking 2-story, just typical southern mansion, right? I said, well, Newby, nice place. He goes, yeah, Rick. He goes, look. He goes, I got something I got to go do. He goes, why don't you go in there and make yourself at home? He goes, upstairs, find a bedroom that's not occupied and call it yours. He goes, if you're going to hang out for the night. And I said, well, I am. He goes, good, make yourself at home. He goes, the den's in there, kitchen's down there. Fuck, find it. I got to go. Okay, so I go up, found a bedroom, threw my shit in there, went downstairs, found something to eat, went in the den. I said, okay. I sat behind this big-ass desk, and I hit a remote, and I'm going, I hit the remote on, and all of a sudden the screen come down out of the ceiling. I said, fuck, big TV. I said, that's cool. And I hit another button that said open, and the fucking doors opened up on a big cabinet, and it was a stereo from hell, and recording equipment and shit. I'm going, God damn, fuck. So I turned on some music, right? And I'm sitting there, and I eat this bologna sandwich or what, ham, whatever it was I ate. And I'm sitting there at his desk just jamming, going, yep. I said, okay. Newby don't drink, but he had a whole liquor cabinet over there, so I went over and made me a drink. Went back to the desk. It's a nice desk. Well, I'm looking at the drawers. I don't care what's in the drawers. I'm just looking. So I opened this door, and there's some pot and some Coke. I said, took it out. Newby didn't do either. He didn't drink, do drugs at all. Newby never did. So I took it out, and I said, okay. So I'm sitting there. I got a plate of Coke and some pot on a tray, and roll me a fat one, and snort some lines, and finish my sandwich, and have my drink. I'm kicked back in the chair, going, yeah, fuck Newby, you got it going on in this big leather chair, you know. And this is like 7 hours after he left. You know, I'm in there really kicking back. All of a sudden, I hear a car coming. I said, okay, well, Newby's back. I heard another car. I said, well, he brought company. Next thing I know, every door in the fucking house folds off its hinges, and I got guns pointed at my face, and they're FBI and DEA and CBS and whatever else the fuck letters they were. I mean, they were everybody in front of me. Get up, motherfucker, get up! Well, I'm handcuffed, and I'm hauled out there. They're taking pictures. They took pictures of me before I got up out of the chair. Well, what the fuck? Get up! Get these cuffs on! So, you know, that's where that went. They took me out and threw me in the back of an unmarked car, and I said, what's going on? They said, shut up, motherfucking Yankee! I said, wow, goddamn. So I shut up. We drove down this trail through Newby's property, 7 cars deep, and then they shut the headlights off. And I'm going, what the fuck? They're driving through the pines and this little service road thing, right? And we come out in a field, and there was a Winnebago at the end of the field park. And they went down there and surrounded it like a bunch of cowboys and got out with megaphones, and 3 Colombians come out with their hands in the air, and they put one of the kids in the car with me and 2 in the other car. And I looked at the kid and I said, ¿Qué pasa? He goes, no, nada. I said, yeah, well, fuck. So now we're handcuffed, and they rush us down to the Sumter International Airport in South Carolina. And there's Newby and all his friends that I kind of know, Red, and everybody was there. And there's, you know, duffel bags of cocaine laid out there, and the spotlights, and the cops got them standing by the back of the plane. They hustle us all over there and handcuff us. I'm one away from Newby. I said, Newby, what's going on? He goes, what the fuck? He goes, what the fuck? I said, yeah, what the fuck? So, okay, we're all in jail. Didn't get to see Newby again. They had me in a different section, right? So, next day, bond hearing. It's like 4 o'clock. I'm going, goddamn, about me. They'd taken everybody else that was associated with that mess to a bond hearing. All of a sudden, I get escorted to the bond hearing. Go down there in front of the judge, and he goes, after reading this paperwork, he goes, do you have anything you'd like to say prior to me setting a bond on you? I said, well, you know, I came up here to visit my friend. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. I said, I don't know what was happening. He goes, stop. He goes, nice picture of you, very good likeness. He goes, would you recognize this picture? And it was me sitting behind Newby's desk with a plate of Coke and a thing, you know. He goes, my officers, he goes, found you in a mansion, Southern Plantation, he goes, sitting behind a big fancy desk with music playing and lines of Cokes and a drink in your hand. Everybody else was at the runway unloading a plane of cocaine. He goes, and I'm supposed to believe that you knew nothing about any of it. No. He goes, great. Let's say I believe your story. $2 million bail. I said, $2 million? I said, I didn't do anything. Get him out of here. I said, God damn. So I called my friend up in North Carolina, and I called, his name was Eagle Collins. He run a bail bonds company. I said, Eagle, this is the deal. I need to get out. Oh, Rick, Jesus Christ. I'll come get you. But you got to straighten me up quick. I said, I will. He goes, okay. So he come and bailed me out. And then I just kind of disappeared from the house that I was living in and the girl I was with. And I figured I had a interest in a boat that was out of Bainbridge, Maryland. It was a 82-foot sailing boat that somebody talked me into going in on. So I had a ownership partner in that boat. And it was out of Bainbridge, Maryland. And they took a lot of stewardesses and pilots on the cruises that somehow got in with them, so they were booking the boat all the time. And the boat was just happened to be in Montego Bay, Jamaica, at the Montego Bay Yacht Club down there. And I said, well, geez, fuck. I went to the airport in Columbia, South Carolina, bought me a ticket and went right to Montego Bay. Yeah, with nothing but a handbag, with nothing in it and me. I get there and the little kid was out there with a little ponga boat thing, and I said, can you give me a ride out to that boat? He goes, see. So I paid him, and I ride out there, and the skipper I'd never met, his name was Red, and I saw why. He had a big red beard, red hair, and he was a big man. He was 190 pounds. He was just a big boy up there on the dock. I said, Skipper, I said, my name's so-and-so. I said, and I'm asking permission to board this vessel. He goes, well, you got every right. Come on board. I know who you are. I said, okay. So I climbed on the boat, and we started talking at the back of the boat. And he goes, I've got it. It's leased. He goes, there's another 2 weeks on this cruise that we're on. He goes, there's 5 stewies up front. He goes, you'd have to ask them if it's all right for you to take over your cabin for a minute, because I'm in it now. I said, well, do you mind taking a cruise quarters for a minute and let me have the cabin? He goes, oh, not at all, sir. He goes, you'll just have to get it okay with them. Me being the captain, you need to ask them and make sure it's okay. I said, Skipper, I'll go right out there. So I walked up over the little deck area and up onto the little doghouse area on the top of the sailboat, walked down there. And there was 5 beautiful girls laying there with nothing on, just their bikini bottoms just laying there in the sun. I said, excuse me, ladies. I said, I hate to bother you, but I'm part owner of the boat, and I'm here in Montego Bay, and I'd like to catch a ride on the vessel for a few days if you all don't mind. Not one of them tried to cover up. They just looked at me and they said, it's big enough? I said, great. I walked back and got my cabin, and I stayed with them for the 2 weeks, actually, and then on the way back up to Bainbridge, Maryland, I figured I would exit the vessel on a rubber dinghy and go into shore, because I was wanted, because I'd bail jumped by then. I was kind of like not according to the court.
Right.
So I figured I'd better sneak back into the country, because I wanted to get some things done that I couldn't have done if I was in jail. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know where all that was going to go. Even after I bailed out, I failed to report, and yeah. So I knew I was in trouble, It wasn't revocable bail time. It was just, I know that they were going to grab me up because I was not compliant with their stipulations on the bail. I had to contact them, every other day, and and I wasn't doing that. So, okay, I bought a rubber raft. Figured I had it, I think it was like 6-horse or something motor down there I bought. And I bought lamb's breath pot from a guy. The best pot ever in Jamaica. It was so pretty and so good. What a high. He sold me 20 pounds of it, so I've got it stuffed into this sea bag, and I figure I'll take that in when I go in. I got that pot to smoke. I wasn't thinking of getting rich off it. I was thinking of it was really good weed, and I wanted to keep some, even though maybe 20 pounds was a little carried away. So we're going up the coast, and we're tacking to get up the way the wind's blowing. So he's doing, like 80-mile tacks. I said, okay, let's plot this out. So we tack into Charleston area. I said, when we get off the shores of Charleston, let's tack in about 4 or 5 miles where I can get in the boat and head in. He goes, okay, sir, I don't mind. I said, great. So we did. He said, time to bail out there, mister. I said, gotcha. Lowered that goddamn raft, took my bags. I had 2 of them. I had a little compass, a little big, little military kind of compass. He said, "Be careful." I said, "I got you, man." I had a life jacket laying there on the floorboards and fired up the motor and looked at the compass and I said, "That's west, okay." It seemed like forever with a little 5-horse, 6-horse motor.
Right.
So I stopped. I was listening to see if I could hear the surf. I figured I must be almost fucking there, right? No, man, I kept going and going and going, and the fog was so thick I had to stop and really look at the compass to make sure I was still. I knew I was going to hit the shore some fucking ways, right? So, I mean, goddamn, how can you miss the United States? Well, what we did miss was the turn that he took. He took it like 3 miles too quick than what he was supposed to do according to my calculations. So, anyways, foggy. I stopped. I hear the fucking shoreline. I said, "Fuck yeah." Right into the beach because it was echoing off the fog. I was right on top of the beach. So here I am, tumbled my bag and boat and crumpled up. And I'm going, God damn, boy, I get up. I pulled the boat up into the bush pile. There was some shrubs and stuff. I said, "Wow, fuck." And made sure nobody was paying attention. Got my bags up there. And I said, "Well, okay. So what do I do?" So I flattened the boat. Dug a pit with a fucking piece of pail I found, buried the boat in the motor, buried the bag of weed. I said, there. Had my little handbag. I took a handful of pot with me, but I buried the 20 pounds. I said, I'll just walk. There was a little like roadblock where the road went to the beach. It stopped, so I knew I was in an area because I could see lights and houses and whatnot. So I climbed around the little yellow roadblock thing. Walk out the road, and right to my left is the Coast Guard station. I mean, like I buried the boat and the pot 50 feet from the line of the Coast Guard station.
Oh my God.
I'm going, what the fuck? So it's 2 o'clock in the morning, bro. So I go out there and I'm saying, which way is Charleston? Am I north or south of Charleston? I didn't know that. So it was like I'm going, well, I guess I'll try hoping I'm north. That's where I was plotting to be, but who knew? So now I'm out there and there's a little bit of traffic. So here comes the van. I stuck out my thumb. He stops. I open the door and he goes, "Tell me you can drive." I said, "I can drive." He goes, "I'm fucking drunk and I shouldn't even be driving." He goes, "Are you going to Charleston? That's where I live." I said, "That's where I'm going, is to Charleston." He goes, "Well, come on. Get in." He got over and sat and he was so drunk. So finally got me to his house, right? And I get out of the van and his wife comes out and starts hollering at me, telling me what a worthless piece of shit I am for keeping her husband up. I'm going, God damn, lady. I took my bag. I said, "I got him home. Peace, gotta go." So now it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm on the streets of Charleston walking around. and I met these 2 young girls, I mean high school girls, going to the store to buy cigarettes at 3 in the morning, right? I'm going, wow, what are y'all doing up so late? And they said, "Late? We stay up this way all the time." I said, "Wow." I said, "Look," I said, "you wouldn't want to smoke a joint with me, would you?" And they said, "Yeah, dude, you got pot?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Come on." So I went and they were living in a little house all together and they were one couple of college, one was a senior in high school, so they were young girls. But I stayed right there that night. The next day I went and got a motel and tried to figure out what I was going to do from there. So I figured I was in trouble, so I went downtown and found me an attorney in Charleston. I walked in and I told him the whole story. And he said, "Well, for 20 grand in cash, I'll make sure that I'm on retainer for you, and this is what I'll do, and blah blah blah, and I'll keep you advised if they're hunting you down here in town, because I know a lot of people." I said, "Well, that'll work." And I counted out 20 grand. I said, "Here you go, bro." He goes, great, that's good. Next day I got a call in the hotel room and I had to go see him immediately. I went over to his office and I walked in the door and the secretary let me in. I went in the back there and I said, "What's up?" And he goes, "Well," he goes, "just because of security problems," he goes, "and keeping you safe here in Charleston," he goes, "I reckon I need another 20 grand to do what I need to do, or else, things could go south for you right quick." I stood up and I looked at him. I said, "It sounds like you're giving me a railroad job here, mister." He goes, well, it's the nature of the business. I said, really? I rolled the desk up on top of him. He fell out of the chair, the desk on top of him. The girl come running in and goes, I'm calling the police. I said, call the fucking National Guard while you're on the phone. I said, go ahead, call the cops. I said, you son of a bitch. I grabbed him up from underneath the desk. I said, write me a check right now. I said, I want every penny back that I gave you yesterday. I said, write me a fucking check. He writes a check. I said, now come on, we're going to the bank and cash it. We went right to the bank. He helped me cash the money. We walked out, and I said, I'll tell you what, I should take you out in this goddamn bay and bury you for what you tried doing to me. I said, now you're going to come with me for a minute, and then I'll get away from you, and I don't want to ever see you again, and you're a lucky cocksucker. And that's just what I did. I was pissed off because he was trying to take my money, trying to rob me. Attorneys are already a thief, but to do that blatantly like that the very next day, how stupid was he? So I kind of tuned him up pretty good right there that day. I don't think he ever tried that again. That desk hurt. I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
That motherfucker trying to take my money, yeah, he had a big old heavy desk. And the way he fell and that, I mean, it was painful. He was in shock when I was dragging him out from it. Yeah, motherfucker. I said, we're going to the bank. Give me a check. Yeah, buddy. And then the girl just stood there like this. He goes, don't call the police. It's okay. Don't call the police. It's okay. I said, yeah, that'd be okay. Come on, we're going to the bank. Isn't that great? Yeah, it was funny. So I took off, and then we got it straightened out, and the court figured out all by itself. The investigators figured this out all by themselves, that I had not been on any phone conversations for over a year and a half. I had not any idea what was going on. I was not included in any of the plans, and I was actually just showed up to visit because guess what? The guys on surveillance of the house saw me arrive with my handbag and just show up and saw a newbie leave. So when it came out all in the wash, Rick didn't get charged with anything. Charges were dropped. Everybody, you know, the bail was fine. Nothing out of my friend's pocket because nobody lost anything. The only thing he lost was the profit off the money that he would have got from making me pay 10% or something. So I took care of him, so he was happy at the end, and everybody was happy. Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah. Pretty crazy.
Good old newbie.
And he got in trouble because he wouldn't listen to me. Yep, because he had to have a pilot. Had to have a pilot. God damn, he had to get down there. God damn. I said, I'll do it in 2 weeks. I can't do it. I'm bold. I just can't, newbie. In a couple of weeks, I can go. Oh, I can't wait that long. I gotta find a pilot. So he ventures on his own down to Lantana. And, hooks right up with DEA informants. Just like that. The first fucking thing in the town, he finds them.
Yeah, they just happen to be right there looking for, yeah.
Well, they were back then. They were all over
right,
those,
yeah.
They were all over those airports.
That's what I mean, yeah.
So newbie fell right in the trap, and then they booked him along and hooked him along until he got the load up. I mean, but during that time, during a couple of years of newbie's reign, he lost 10 plane loads of dope. I mean, to errors, to bust, to crashing, to whatever. I mean, he was always losing his load. I'd call him, say, newbie, how's it going? Lost another goddamn 3 tons of pot down there. I mean, well, he used to fly into the drag strip up there in Columbia, outside of Columbia, and he'd land his plane at the drag strip when nobody was around, and he'd unload the pot, and then the pilot would take off, and I mean, so, I'm just saying. So it was pretty interesting, how it all worked. But then he had incompetence working for him. The pilots were shaky, they didn't know the route, they didn't know how to load the plane. I mean, there's a science to loading the plane overloaded. You can't just throw it in there any willy-nilly way. I mean, you got to put that in there so you can fly that plane again. So you can overload something and still get it to work. It's not the best of things to do. Everything has stress levels from wings to motors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you start packing too much in there. I mean, I've actually tore the front seat out of a plane just so I could sit on a bale of pot and bring home more weight. Because the plane was little and it was just full of pot, and I knew I could bring more home. But, that seat was a waste of my 60 pounds. So it came out of there, and I just sat on a couple bales of pot, and leaned against the bales of pot, and flew the whole plane home. There, that solved that. And you're sitting there like this. We came. I was with a friend one time, and we came into Dothan, Alabama. Boy, we had a twin Titan 404 turboprop, nice plane, and we had it loaded down with bales of pot. Well, we caught a U.S. Customs jet got on us. We said, fuck, and there was no way losing. I mean, he was circling us. They had us wherever we went, you know. We said, well, fuck, what are we going to do? He goes, well, let's take this motherfucker on down to the deck and get rid of this shit. I said, we were heading to Ohio with it. And I said, okay. So he dropped it down, and I had bales stacked at the door, like 5 deep, and I was just going to open the door and kick them out, right, and then slide more over and kick them out. So sure enough, first bales went out, and I looked down, and when I did, we were flying downtown Dothan, Alabama at 3 o'clock in the morning. Actually, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. It was almost daybreak, and the fucking bales were hitting the street, and one bounced right through a J.C. Penney's window right there on Main Street. And I'm going, fuck! He goes, keep slinging, keep slinging. So I'm slinging them out, right? And then he goes, wow, that custom jet just left us. I said, we must have outfueled it. I said, fuck, I wish we hadn't kicked the bales. So we brought the plane up a little bit, and we were going to still head to Ohio to let everybody know what happened, right? And all of a sudden there was that goddamn customs chopper on us. I said, holy fuck. Actually, it wasn't a customs. It was an Army Apache kind of type helicopter back then. I forget what exactly it was, but it was a real fancy military one. And he gets on the radio, and he's pointing to the radio, and he's going, take it down. My friend said, hang on, bro. He goes, those choppers only got 400-mile range. Watch this. So we just fueled up just shortly ago. So he's heading to the moon. Here comes the chopper heading to the moon. To the ground. We go, here comes the helicopter. In circles we went. The helicopter's in circles. Before long, the helicopter just went down in Farmer's Field and landed because he'd burned all his fuel out. So my friend went over and we did a barrel roll, half barrel roll, victory roll over the top of them and took off to Ohio. We lost all the weight on that load. I mean, so
wow.
And then one time we flew into Breckenridge, Colorado. I had about 650 pounds of cocaine on the plane that was heading to Canada eventually, but I was taking it to Breckenridge and points beyond. And me and a partner was in the plane, and we landed in Breckenridge, tied the plane down, left the cargo in the cargo door area of the plane, and checked into a fancy hotel down there in Breckenridge, went to the bars, and we met a couple girls. We thought they were hookers. That's what we were looking for. So, we hooked up with them, and we drank and danced and went snorted coke and ate pills and drank. I mean, we were high as fuck. Next morning I wake up, I'm handcuffed to the top of the fucking post on the bed in the hotel room, which was really dumb on their behalf because it was a headboard that was attached to the wall that all you had to do was pick it up. So I said, fuck, I picked up the headboard, got it under my arm. I walk out the room, pound on my friend's door, and the maid was right there. She's looking at me. I said, hey, this fell off the wall last night. I said, can you unlock the door for me? I said, my friend's in there. She unlocked the door. I went in, and he was handcuffed to the bed, too. I said, God damn, man. Yeah, so we got ourselves unattached by bending and twisting and turning some steel around. We got the cuffs off. It was a pain in the ass. We had to use both headboards to pry on one, to get one loose first. And then, yeah, it kind of worked, so we got out of them. Still had the handcuffs on, though. So we immediately ran down to the rent-a-car and headed right for the plane. I get out there, and these two girls are just in the process of opening the cargo door and taking a package out of the bag. I pulled up there, and I ran up to them with my pistol drawn, put it right to her forehead, and I said, bitch, I said, put it back in the fucking plane. I said, she goes, DEA, you're under arrest. I said, you're dead. Put it back in the fucking plane. I don't give a fuck what your badge says, bitch. I said, I ain't playing. I said, put it back on the goddamn plane. They didn't have time to draw any weapons. My friend went around and snatched 2 38s off them that they had, or one was a 9 and 38. And he goes, what the fuck? You two girls are DEA. You fuck us to death. You come to my plane. You're going to take my coke? I said, what are y'all thinking? And they said, I said, well, what you're thinking is you almost got yourself killed. Anybody else might have killed you out here doing this bullshit. I said, what I'm going to do is this. And I reached in the back and I took 2 kilos of cocaine out. I said, here, one for each of you. I said, have a good day. Now get the fuck out of my way. I got to go. He backed off, got me a little undercover car and drove across the runway, and we got the plane, left as fast as we could go. Yep, and then 10 years later, right here, in a little county next door, I'm in the county jail, and all of a sudden I get a visit from 2 customs agents from the Port of Los Angeles. What? Guess who it was? The 2 DEA chicks that had become customs agents at the port and had been following me and found me there at Little County Jail, and they came to see me. I said, is this formal or informal? And they said, well, it's kind of both, but it's good to see you. I said, you 2 are fucking nuts. And they were giggling and laughing. And they said, yeah, you're finally where you belong. I said, I won't be here long. I said, but listen up. I said, I'm glad you come to visit. I said, was that fun or what? And they said, it was the biggest rush of our life. That's why we went to the customs. I said, you figured out maybe DEA wasn't the way to go? They said, we didn't do it anymore after that. We quit and went to customs. I said, okay, so customs is a little better? And she goes, we don't have assholes pulling up on a runway with a handgun threatening to kill us. I said, there you go, you got a good job then. And they said, what do you know about some possible diamonds coming out of Mexico City through the port? I said, what? And they said, we didn't think you knew anything about it. Have a good day. And they left. They just used that as a ruse to come out and question me. They got a paid vacation to come to Georgia just to visit me and tell me, whatever they were trying to tell me. I didn't really get their message. I was just shocked that they were there. Yeah. I said, God damn. Because, I'd laid one of them, so it was like, what the fuck? It's like, hey, girls, they're crazy, bro. Yep.
Goes to show they'll do anything to get their man.
Jesus Christ.
Right? That's basically what it was.
Yeah, they were trying to rob us. They weren't trying to arrest us.
Oh, they were really trying to rob you?
They were going to take that cocaine, probably half of it or more, and stash it, and then go tell their leaders that they've got a big cocaine bust at the airport, and here they are handcuffed to the bedboard. Nobody would have known. So they were trying to be slick willies. Yeah, that didn't work.
Huh. Close one.
Slick Willie here. In Florida, in a little runway on the East Coast, I had a friend that worked at the airport, did maintenance and security things there at the airport. And I always told him to keep his eyes open for any twins that nobody really used that were just laying there forever. So he turned me on to a couple that I kept my eye on. But this one day he called me, he said, I got one for you, bro. Been in the hangar for over 4 months. Nobody even uses it. I said, yeah? I went down there with my bolt cutters, cut the padlock, opened the door, went in, and it was a Lodestar 160 with a cargo door. I said, oh, God damn, that's a nice smuggler right there. I said, holy fuck. So I put a padlock back on the door, left it for 2 or 3 days to make sure nobody was really going in there, and nobody was. So I went back with my key and opened the door and pulled the plane out, fueled it up, and did a dope run. Perfect. Packed it back in the hangar, put my padlock on the door, and left. A couple weeks later, did the same thing, borrowed the plane. Third time, a friend talked me into going. I said, okay, so we took the plane again. This time, though, coming back in, we were going to land in a little field somewheres and drop his shit off, and he was going to pay me, and that was going to be the end of the trip, and blah, blah, blah. We fly around the field. There's his crew on the field. A half mile down the road is 20 cop cars and undercover trucks and everything in a field getting ready to pounce on everybody in the field, right? I said, that ain't working. We're out of fuel. I mean, I'd extended it right out of fuel. So I said, we're going to have to put down somewheres. Put down that drainage ditch. I said, okay. So I did. And when I did, the fucking wings, of course, folded right up off the plane. The motors went down in the drainage ditch. It's a wonder we didn't die. Well, the plane's in the drainage ditch, all damaged up. So I didn't care. I just wanted to get out of there. So I made a call, got I called somebody on the radio, actually, and they came and got us, and we got out of there. And we were 10 miles from the location of where we were supposed to be. So even though we'd crash landed in a water trough, so to say, nobody really paid much attention out there. It was farmland. So we kind of just got away, and then a couple days later in the news was some drug smugglers had stolen the church's plane that flew burnt children to the Shriners hospitals. So I went to see my 2 partners in crime, and I said, okay, dig deep. I said, we're buying an airplane for a church. What do you talk about? I said, dig deep, motherfuckers, or I ain't never flying for you again. They started to dig deep. I said, yeah, that'll work. So we rounded up about $480,000 is what we ended up with between the 3 of us. I said, now I'm going to go to church Sunday, and I'm going to donate this money. We ain't going to the church with you. I said, you don't have to, I'll handle it. 480 is a good bunch of money. I had 2 grocery sacks hanging under my armpit with money in it underneath the suitcase like you'd carry a pistol when I walked into church. But I got there late, and I wanted to sneak in and just somehow leave the money in the tray and get out of there without being noticed, blah, blah, blah. Open the door. And everybody in church looks. Sit down at the end row. Nobody's there. Sit there by the aisle. Sit down, listen to the service, and here comes 2 kids with those little baskets on a stick. They come back and start right with me, right? I said, kid, I said, I got something I got to donate, and you just need to probably get another basket or a box. He's looking at me. He went over and took books, hymnals out of a cardboard box, and laid them on the floor, and he brought this little box over to me. I said, thanks. I said, just a minute. I said, you can go put this up front. And I took the bags and ripped them out from under my arm, put the bag in there, took that bag in there. I said, there you go. I said, I want to remain anonymous. And he's going. So I got up. The kid stood by the box. I got up and walked to the door and kind of waved to the kid. Opened the door with a lot of pressure on it so it didn't squeak. Walked out the door. The only one that saw me was the priest up there preaching. So I got the fuck up out of there. And then the next day in the paper, there was some anonymous donor had donated enough for them to buy a new airplane so they could continue to fly the children to the burn center. Yep, and those people wouldn't have done that. But my heart and chest wouldn't have let me not do that when I found out what the plane was used for and why it was not being used. You know, it was only an occasional flight.
Right.
So God bless. So we got rescued on the yeah. Found it. And then when I went to trial, the prosecutor stood up and said, Your Honor, this man has an exemplary military record. He's also well educated, Your Honor, and he's done this and he's done that, and he was awarded this and awarded that, and I'm going, wow, the prosecutor's doing this, huh? Wow, he's making me sound pretty good. And he got done with all the goodness, and he turned around and pointed at me, and he says, and he has the capability of killing. I'm in here for a pot charge. What's fucking killing got to do with it? I was about to say something, and he goes, because our star witness was found overdosed in a motel room just last night that was coming here to testify before this court today. The young man never made it because he met a misfortune in a motel room, pointing at me.
Wow.
I'm looking at the motherfucker going, wow, I almost liked you. And then they had a prosecutor that was a girl and she was smoking hot. You know, I'm sitting at a desk in front of the judge. She's sitting at her desk and she's kind of like this, you know, from me to you, from me. And I said, excuse me. I said, you're fucking hot. And she goes, excuse me? I said, girl, you're smoking fucking hot. And she goes, you're hitting on me. I said, you're goddamn right I am. I think you're smoking hot. And she goes, boom. So the rest of the hearing I was winking at her and shit, and she was just mad as fuck. Yeah, she couldn't believe I was hitting on her. She was trying to give me a life sentence and I'm hitting on her. Yeah, I knew I had it. Yeah, they made a lot of errors on everything they did, so when it was time to correct everything. I didn't make errors, so their errors added up to my benefit, and figured out how to get minimal amount of time and get the fuck up out. So, and then when I got in there, I spent every day in the law library trying to get out even sooner, which I did do. I succeeded in it. Back years ago, the law read you could be punished by either prison time or confiscation of your personal property, bank accounts, cars, trucks, planes. Either or. When they sentenced me, they gave me prison time and took all my shit. Somebody out in San Francisco did a case and they won it just that way because of the either or clause. It didn't say both, it said either one. Either money, property, or jail time. Didn't say both. Either or was the key word. So when I appealed it, they immediately went into the law books and changed either or.
Wow.
Yeah, after my case was won. And my case was won, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, the guard come in and said, Alex, pack your shit, you're a free man. Your appeal came through and your immediate release. I said, what? He goes, get your shit. I just got my uniform, my pair of sneakers on. He goes, get your stuff. I said, there's nothing in here I want to take out of here. I said, my roommate can have it all. I said, have all that candy bars in the locker. I got to go. You know, you can only have so much prison. Bar soap, candy bars, notebook, whatever, some envelope stamps. You can have all that. I got to go. So they released me, and I was a happy man. You know, at 4 o'clock in the morning when they wake you up telling you you're going home, it's like it's a joke. I thought they were moving me again. So that's how they used to move me all the time, because I actually tried to get away from them, so they figured that out, that I tried to get away from them. So they found a handcuff key on me and then a handgun at the trash can at the dentist's office where they took us, and it looked pretty guilty. And this kid, Dewey Thomas, ratted me out for the fucking gun. Yeah, he went into the bathroom before me and somehow found the gun under the trash can.
Huh.
How he did it, I don't ever know. Never asked him, didn't care, wanted to kill him. Yeah, I had it all hooked up, ready to go. Yeah, man. Interesting record to read. I'm sure it would be fun to get my DEA file under the Privacy Act disclosure or whatever. I'd love to see just how many times when they were chasing me after this last one, they had the federal task force units that go around chasing fugitives. So there was 4 U.S. Marshals that all they did every day was hunt me down. I was on their hit list. So me, I wasn't running, I wasn't peeking over my shoulder, I was just making sure I was moving. So when I got to Mexico and bought my voter registration card and got my Mexican driver's license and everything that I needed, I could fly to Cuba. They can't. So I went to Cuba and hung out for a month before I started getting looked at really close, and then I kind of moved on. But yeah, they were right behind me. When they caught me, they told me, we almost had you at Mexico City, motherfucker. You got in the cab, we couldn't catch you. I said, wow, that close, huh? Uh-huh. Yeah. And I was living in Mexico once and had Interpol come to the door. You are in a lot of trouble. I said, yeah. I said, where's the local police? I said, this is international law you're dealing with. You're hooked into Interpol and all that shit. Where's the local policeman that you need to be here with? I said, get the fuck out of here. I slammed the door in his face. Because you didn't have any jurisdiction there. Without local condonance in other countries, you can't do anything you want. I don't care who you think you are. You know, you can be Interpol and all that you want to be, but Interpol all the way down to the local PD and get them to help you. Just say it. Little Miss Muffet will be all wore out today.
Yeah.